For your homework last night, Silas, this is what I'm talking about. Do you see how big I wrote? Can you see everything that I did? Can you see everything that you did? Can I see everything that you did? Spread it out, okay? Are there any questions about the homework or the questions that you guys did last night that you want to go over before we move on? Yes, Christian? Number 9. All right, so number 9 was a GCF one. So it says Nathan is stocking bathrooms at hotels where he works. He has 18 rolls of toilet paper. Sorry, number 9. Just making sure you guys are paying attention. Sarah's shipping and Ryan's nail services both ship packages. Sarah's truck will only carry loads of 18 packages. In contrast, Ryan's truck will only carry loads of 11 packages. If both businesses ended up shipping the same number of packages this morning, what is the minimum number of packages each must have shipped? Now, you have 18 and you have 11. Do you guys remember? Did I tell you guys about the trick? Okay, so what was the trick, Ansley?
You multiply the two numbers together to find LCM.
If what?
If one of them is a prime number.
If one of them is a prime number. So which number is a prime number, 18 or 11? 11. So this one, and the example that I did in my notebook is I started out so you guys can see how many you technically are going to have to do. But at the end of the day, if you simply do 18 times 11, you get your LCM. Okay? So let's talk about this one right here, though, because this is also an LCM question. If I multiply 9 times 18, am I going to get my LCM?
No.
Raise your hand and tell me why. Why does that rule that applies to the prime number not work for two composite numbers? Silas?
Because they have multiple, so you just go.
Right. Right, because there's more than one set of factors, right? So that's why it does not work when you have two composite numbers to a prime and a composite. Okay, I just want to make sure that you guys understand that. Any other questions? Did you get that one right, Christian? Okay. Any other questions that you want to go over from homework last night? Yes.
Number 8.
Number 8?
Yeah, we had some trouble with that one.
Okay, number 8's the same thing. So you have 8 and you have 17. So you can go on for days and days and days and days and days. Or you could have just done 8 times 17 and gotten 136. And with multiples, guys, you have to be very careful because it's very easy to make a mistake and miss a multiple, and then you're completely off and you're never going to find it. Okay, so just being careful and realizing that 17 is a what kind of number? It's a prime number. Okay, so use that trick to save time, because that's a big thing. Because I mean, yes, it's just repeated addition, but it's still time consuming, right? So if you can remember your prime numbers and what a prime number is, and look at it and say, okay, one's a prime, one's a composite, it will make it a lot easier for you guys. Any other ones you want to go over? All right. If you haven't glued this in, there's a couple different ways you can glue it in. You can put glue right here on the inside, or you can put glue across the top. I don't care where you put it. Just make sure that it gets glued into your notebook. And then go ahead and turn to the next blank left page. And please title it this on the next blank page that you have. All right, stand up when you have this done. All right, have a seat. So, today, there are going to be these little strips up around the room on the tables. Technically, there are 28 problems right here. The reason there are 28 problems is because there are 27 of you in here, so at no point should anybody ever have to really be next to somebody working on a problem, right? See what I did there? But essentially, you are going to just move around the room today, and you're going to be doing problems. These are GCF, percent. I tried to find LCM and prime factorization. I clicked on the standard. I didn't find any, so essentially it's percent and prime factor, or percent and GCF questions, which is fine because that's the majority of the questions you're going to see on benchmarks and EOGs. But nonetheless, I just want you guys to just get repetition. I want to talk about 2% questions. The first one, everyone, I want you to write number 2, because we're going to do number 2 together. All right, number 2 is right here, and it says Jacob planted a 5-foot tree. After 1 year, he measured it and found that the tree had grown by 20% of its original height. How tall was the tree after 1 year? Okay, so this is the type of percent problem you guys, or a type of percent problem that you guys are going to see. So I want you to take a minute or a few minutes, and I want you to solve this problem. However you feel that you can solve this problem. I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes. If you finish before that 3 minutes, stand up. If you don't, that's okay also. Do the problem in your notebook, son. Yes. right there, where everybody else is. It's very interesting to see what happens to you guys when it's a problem. You have all the resources you need, but then it's like our brain goes away. We forget what we're doing. We legit have no idea how to solve this problem. Why? Like, what makes this problem so much harder than the problems you're doing for the he said, she said thing? Honestly, like those problems to me are harder than this one. Like, I'm just being honest. So how many of you guys legit were like, I have no idea how to solve the problem? Well, you solved it. You used a strategy, so put your hand down.
Yeah,
It's okay. If you tried, that's all as long as you tried. But if you legit were like, I do not know, even with Miss Kinney writing it on the board, I do not know what to do. See, this can't happen, guys. It can't. Because you know what to do. How long have we been doing percents? Like, almost 2 weeks, right? You guys know what to do. So don't let your brain explode and come out of your ears because there's a word problem up here that isn't the easiest. Not that this is a hard question. Also, we have to ask ourselves, does our answer make sense? That's a huge thing, especially with percents. You have to ask, does my answer make sense? All right, so starting with that first sentence, Jacob planted a 5-foot tree. What is 5 feet to us? Raise your hand. What is 5 feet to us, Silas? This is our hole. Okay? After 1 year, he measured it and found that the tree had grown 20%. Okay, so our 20%, that's super easy. We know what that is. We know we're not finding the percent. We know that this is our hole, and that is our unknown. From here, what do? You cross multiply and then divide. So 5 times 20 equals 100. 100 divided by 100 gives me 1. Obviously, 1 is not our answer, though, is it? No, and this is where you have to know, okay, 1 is not my answer, plus it's not an answer choice, is it? What do I have to do here? What do I have to do here with this 1?
You have to add the 1 to your whole.
Yes, because it's grown, which means I'm going to add to it. It's grown 20%, which gives me 6 feet as my answer. So now, those of you who weren't sure how to set it up, but you set it up and you solved it, how many of you got this answer right? Okay, so guys, you should be confident in your ability to be able to solve these problems. You really should. There's no reason that, like, there's no single problem on here that is going to be so hard that you don't know how to solve it. Like, I promise you, if you just think a little bit and you're like, okay, 1 doesn't make sense, plus it's not an answer choice. Oh, that's only 20%, and it's grown 20%. Also, making sure that, yes, you can't annotate, and I don't want you to write on these pieces of paper, but thinking about what you actually are doing to solve this. What is the question actually asking us? Didn't ask us to find the percent, it asked us to find how much it had grown. All right, so there's an example of a percent one. Let's talk about this one. Because originally, when I picked this problem out, I was like, oh, this is going to be so easy for them. And then when I was talking to Ms. Gibson this morning, I was like, oh, maybe it won't. So again, I want you guys to solve this problem and stand up when you have your answer. So it says which double number line shows how to find 75% of 168. I'm going to give you 2 minutes because really there's not a whole lot of math to do. It's just kind of looking. All right, so 2 minutes. Stand up when you have your answer. So think about a number line. Think about something we've done in the past that has to do with number lines, aka take diagrams, think about it that way. Alright, so we're going to do a stand up, sit down for this one. So stand up if you picked A. Okay, sit down. Stand up if you picked B. Okay, stand up if you picked C. Stand up if you picked D. And then stand up if you weren't sure. Because that's okay too. Sometimes we don't know, right? Okay, so nobody picks A, B, C, or D. Why did we not pick B? Why did we not pick B? Gabe? Does 15 go into 100 evenly? So they're not equal, they're not equal, what is the word? Intervals? That's the right word. So they're not equal intervals. So it goes up 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, but then technically the next one should be what? 90. So we know that this one, not going to work. Okay, what about C? Why do we not pick C? So why is C not correct? Silas?
I said C wasn't correct because it goes from 112 to 140 from 75 to 80%.
Well, again, our intervals are going up by 20s, right? So that works because 20s go into 100, but are we looking for 60 or 80? What are we looking for? Like, what is the question asking us? What percentage? 75. So they just threw in a 75 right here, which doesn't work. Why? Why doesn't that work with them just throwing in a 75? No, it wouldn't go over 100. What are the intervals, guys? 20s. So 75 doesn't work there because it's not an equal interval. All right, what about D? Why does D not work? Gracie.
Okay, so it doesn't work because 75 is not, 75% of 168 is not 168, and 224 is not the whole. Since when is there 224?
Right, so 168 is our what?
Whole.
It is our whole. So therefore, that means that this is equal to 100%. So the only option you have is A. Okay? So again, what I thought would have been a super easy one, I realized after having a conversation with somebody that it might not have been as easy. All right, so at this point we've done 2, so there's 26 problems left. There are 2 problems on every table that I just passed out, and then there's one around the back. There's one by the little hangy thing by the door. There's one on the hand sanitizer. There's one on this lock chair, one on the back table, one up here on the front board, and one on one of those green chairs. Okay? Table 1, you can either, 2 of you can stay and 1 of you can go, or all 3 of you can go, but take your notebook, make a decision.